Hello and welcome to another movie roast. I'm your host Scott. You can find me on Twitter at xhorseandx, and I'm here with Mike. You can find on Twitter at Review and Roast. You can find our Facebook at facebook.com/Review and Roast, and you can find our Instagram at also instagram.com/Review and Roast. You can pretty much hashtag or search Review and Roast, and we're going to be the only ones you find anyway. So I'm glad I get to repeat myself every single time we do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we will be talking to you about the latest abomination in the Star Wars canon, Solo, a Star Wars story. And all of you longtime listeners should know, I like to make fun of people who make fun of Star Wars movies because they're not my Star Wars. Yeah, it is.
Well, this is
all you're getting, so deal with it.
The quintessential. This is the one that everyone has said is absolutely not my Star Wars.
Really, even more so than The Last Jedi?
Yeah. Which whatever. I'm already getting pissed because so many people are just dogging The Last Jedi and even dogging this movie now. And give me a reason. It's trash. It's garbage. Okay. Why? 'Cause it's trash. 'Cause it's garbage. Yeah, but what? Why? 'Cause it's not good. It doesn't even make sense. Okay, what? Like, I could literally just keep saying why, and they'll just never answer the question with any valid point. Almost never. I hate what's his name, or so-and-so, or that person. Same with Solo now. Everyone's complaining about L3, the female robot.
Right.
That's the new thing, because she's shoving the feminist agenda down her throat with this female robot. Really? Is she, though? That's what you took out of this whole movie? Was the robot was too girly for robots? Because robots have to be man robots only, and that's the only robots you can have is men robots? I mean, you're making the point right now.
Right.
You're making the point right now. So what you're telling me is C3PO
Right? You need to be rebooted?
Is a asexual being. Granted, I'll give you he probably is. But he's also referred to as a he. So there's that. Just saying. So I already threw this thing off the fucking rails.
I was going to say, this is getting super weird pretty quick.
Well, I'm already fired up about this movie because of the hatred. Although, I will say this. Before the movie came out on IMDb, it was a low 6. Now it's over 7. So, as far as user reviews go. So, whether you boycotted it or not, the people that didn't and went to it, the masses are starting to enjoy it more. The more people that have seen it, I think. I don't know specific numbers on the film. I know it's obviously not going to do as well as The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi or maybe even Rogue One. But didn't do that bad. I mean, everyone's like, they're not talking about, the boycott. That's for the reason. Not really. Rogue One didn't do
I'm sorry, dude. Like, there are 7 billion people on the planet. The 300 fucking neckbeards that are boycotting this movie, nobody cares what you think.
Just you're going to get hate mail now.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
That's good for a change.
See, here's the difference.
Normally everybody hates me.
The difference. You have read and watched and studied Star Wars like it's a religion since you were fucking 6.
I have.
I have not. Yet, neither one of us are like, this is not my Star Wars.
No, I actually... I already went through the not my Star Wars phase before the first fucking movie came. Before The Force Awakens came out, I already was pissed, angry, afraid, needed to be coddled. I mean,
the 7 stages of grief.
No, I had everything. Yeah, whatever those. I went through all of it. You know what I mean? Like a 12-step program before I even went to see the first movie, and then going into the first movie, The Force Awakens. Spoiler alert: somebody huge dies, Han Solo, and I knew somebody was. Like, they weren't going to start this thing out and not do that. So, having said that, when I was a little kid, studying stuff and reading stuff and getting into shit, my favorite effing character of all time, of almost any sci-fi related thing, is Han Solo. I mean, that's like a fact. No more so than the original 3, obviously Harrison Ford. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, the guy was amazing at the character, hands down. From the first scene to the last in The Force Awakens, really. But again, you got to remember he was really him in the first 3, the original trilogy. And when we get into this movie, I want to get into some of the things that I almost didn't like about this movie, but forgot that they were part of the original 3. So, all right, moving on.
So the synopsis.
Oh, yeah. So hey, Scott, what's this movie all about?
During an adventure into the criminal underworld, Han Solo meets his future co-pilot Chewbacca and encounters Lando Calrissian
And
years
his chick bot.
and his chick bot L7. I mean L3.
Yeah.
Right. Years before joining the rebellion. Directed by Ron Howard, which I didn't know until the very end when his credits. Well, I don't have TV.
He was,
which is a beautiful
and
thing.
Now
for
I might be
now.
completely screwed up here, but I believe he was brought on like after filming started, and don't quote me. I believe that is the case, and on top of that, that's why Clint Howard makes an appearance, who I mistakenly identified as Booger the first time I went to see it. Remember Booger from Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was at first, but it was actually Clint Howard, the ugly one. I mean, fair to say.
Wow.
Yeah. He was the guy in the Robot Deathmatch.
No, yeah, I'm way beyond that at this
What
point.
are you looking at now?
Well, I was looking at L3, who was played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who was on the show Fleabag, which was a Prime original that I watched and reviewed and is up on the site. It was actually a pretty funny show, and that's kind of awesome that she was in there. I like seeing small time, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Just small actors, and end up being in these giant movies. Like it's just kind of gives me hope that one day maybe I'll.
I also like the big actors making small parts. Like Andy Newton has a role. Jon Favreau voices a character in this. So those are, I like those too.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, this movie also stars Paul Bettany, who.
Holy shit!
Goddamn, is a good dude, man. Like he needs to be doing. I mean,
before we talk about
he needs to be doing everything. You know how they were going through like Tom Hardy phase, where Tom Hardy was like literally doing everything.
Yes.
Paul Bettany needs to do everything.
Well, and here's the thing: before we get too far into the likes, don't likes, and all that shit of this movie, there is not a role in this that wasn't absolutely crushed.
Oh, see now, having you said that.
And I say that because, like...
One of the biggest complaints on the interwebs from all the experts is that the only role that was crushed was Donald Glover as Lando, which he did crush.
Yes, he did.
He did crush. But I feel like that's the only one people were afraid to pick on, if you think about it.
Because he's also a singer and he'll write songs about how mean you were to him?
Yes.
Well,
he's also African-American. That's what everyone gives a shit about.
Nowadays, you're right.
It does.
So let me put it this way, though. I listened to, listen to the radio on the way to work. Sometimes it's too early for music. Mm-hmm. Sometimes. So I was listening to a radio spoiler-free review of Solo, and they're like, man, this Alden, however the hell you say his name, that's all I keep hearing is this guy is crushing it. This guy is crushing it. And I've only seen a couple of trailers on YouTube, and I'm like, I ain't seeing it. I'm really not. I hope it proves me wrong, but I don't have high hopes for this movie.
I didn't really believe it at first either.
I thought he was fucking great.
No, yeah, like even the beginning, and now and me being who I am, I know stuff about things
At reviewandroast.com.
And in the very beginning, I was like, oh, this guy. The first time I went to see it, I was like, oh shit.
I like how you keep dancing around the first time, so clearly you've seen it again.
Yeah, I went the next day.
Okay.
So, I mean, naturally. Anyways, so the very beginning of that movie, I had to go back, and I actually literally just watched all 3 between yesterday and today, or Saturday and today, or whatever. Who cares? But I watched the original 3 all the way from start to finish because I really wanted to compare my solo notes. And in the very beginning of the movie, Alden, is that his name? Mm-hmm. He cracks that line when they're getting chased in the speeder. He goes, watch this, right? Mm-hmm. And the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, that sounded so fucking stupid. It's literally the exact same thing Han Solo says in A New Hope when he's about to, like, punch the hyperdrive. he like to Leia, he's like, watch this. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the hyperdrive doesn't go. And same thing, he's like, watch this. He does this move, and then it ends in an epic failure. So I'm a fucking idiot. There it is. So,
well,
just saying.
And I'm sure everyone's caught it. Like I forget what the hell that him and Kira were talking about, but she said something. And he's like, I know.
Yeah.
It wasn't "I love you," but it was something along
Yeah.
those lines of like, oh, I want to be with you, and he wasn't like, yeah. It was like, yeah, I know. I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
they did it. They did
Honestly, he and I have read some things, and I'm going to agree with this thing about it. The first, like I said, in the beginning, I was kind of like, come on, man. And I feel like if you go in there with a can-do attitude about this movie, it's going to turn around a lot faster for you. Because the second time I went to see it, I was in like, there's no doubt, like, I know this shit is. I know where we're going here.
Yeah.
So it's about to be awesome. So the cool thing about this movie is there's very little Empire-related issues.
They're just getting their feet off the ground.
Right.
Basically.
So the Empire's around town, set in the time frame of if you haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, the animated series, now's the fucking time, because this movie is taking place in about that time right now. So, without spoiling all kinds of shit, because, I mean, who cares at this point? Everybody knows what's going on if you have Facebook. But, basically, there's a high probability that all the criminal underground shit that was going on in Rebels is about to be happening on the big screen for real. So, this movie might be the movie that, like, bridges that animated series to real life, which could end up being the shit. So,
why wouldn't they?
And I'm pointing at Scott right now because Scott hasn't seen Rebels yet, and it's a thing that needs to be done, son, because it's about to get real up in here. So, I mean, the good news is you got about a year to watch it, so at least until they make another something. But anywho, so following the story, basically, long story short, like the synopsis alludes, another thing people were complaining about was, yeah, we already know he wins the ship in a card game. We already know he's gonna meet Chewbacca. We already know he did the Kessel Run. Yeah, but you never seen them shits. So
right.
Sit back, watch the fucking movie, and he's gonna do it for you. That's all I'm saying. Like, I mean, why would I go to this fucking movie and not see the Kessel Run?
That's like.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
It's like. Yeah, that's like one of his biggest accomplishments in the history of Star Wars.
Hey, guess what? I don't give a fuck if he ever meets Lando. No, Lando's the second best favorite guy of mine in the history of fucking science fiction fucking people. Yeah, I want to see these two guys playing cards. What, are you out of your fucking mind?
Right.
You're goddamn right I want to see him fucking playing sabacc. Shit. And another thing I picked up from the original trilogy is Calrissian always calls him Han.
Yep.
When he
Love that.
So he calls him Han. He's like, it's Han. Yeah, whatever, kid. Seriously?
Yeah.
Dude, and I'm telling you, when I went, and I think I'm on a euphoric high right now because I just watched all 3 fucking movies of the original. Like, dude, Billy D is the shit. And on top of that, Donald Glover is another Tom Hardy. Except for he's the African-American version where now he's in every single thing that there is.
Like what? What else is he in?
Dude, he's been in like he's been cast in pretty decently medium parts in tons of shit. I'd have to pull up the filmography.
Well, I mean, a lot of times it would have been
down in the last 3 years, dude. He's been in a lot of things.
Well, because that was probably when Community ended, because he had that long run on Community, and before that, he did his stand up and all that other shit.
Right, and I'm not saying there's Oh, that's right, The Martian. That was another one that he was in. That was he had
was in Homecoming.
He had a small part.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, he's the guy. And then, anyways, so the point is, he really does, honest to goodness, crush it. So if anybody says that he doesn't do a good Lando, they're stupid, and that's a real thing. I'm gonna say out loud.
Yeah,
because that would be the truth. So, anyways, having said all that, where was I going with that?
I have no fucking clue.
Actor-wise. So
I can tell you who else crushed it.
Woody Harrelson.
Well, duh, but I was gonna say Val.
Oh yeah.
Fendi.
Now therein lies one of my problems with the
Row. That whole train. That train was dope. The whole train scene.
Until the part where she sacrifices herself.
Why?
First of all, you just had a super awesome like Spider-Man grappling hook thingy. I feel like it wasn't a one-time user. Maybe it was, but I feel like it retracted the cable when she zipped back up, so she could have been able to shoot it to another location. Two, I mean, really, this isn't a sacrifice yourself situation. I mean, it really just isn't. Now, having said that, here's the deal, people. The movie must go on, and she can't fucking be in it anymore because that's the story. So, get over it. I'm going to take off 0.25 points, and that's it. And I'm going to move on with my life. So.
Yeah, she was awesome. And for years, all I gotta do is listen to you and stupid fucking Chris talking about fucking Chewbacca's new shit. He rips people in half. Well, guess what? You finally get to see that too.
That is the best thing. They actually, you don't see it physically, but you do see two arms in two hands, and tossed aside like two hams.
Because that's all I've been talking about since day one. Like, you guys talk about how he's badass. Like, those are the books, son. These are the movies. In the movies, he's a fucking crybaby. That's all he does.
Not in this movie. Yeah, this movie, like, I don't know if they finally decided, you know what, like, it's time to give this dude some beefcake roll here, because like this is what the guy's supposed to do, and they do, and he finally, like, there's a lot of Chewbacca, and to be honest, I'm going to say two things. One, there's a lot of Chewbacca whooping ass. Two, there's not enough of Chewbacca whooping ass. Because, I mean, shit. God damn, man. They could have made a Chewbacca movie. That I could watch all day, too.
Yeah. And you know what? And the quote-unquote, I guess, banter between Han and Chewie, it is eerily similar to what you've seen in the original three, what you've seen in The Force Awakens.
And that was another complaint on the interwebs, was the whole, like, Han can speak a little Wookiee. So people were like, oh, and it's like, I just fucking stop. He doesn't need to speak it all the time if he knows English. If he can understand English and he can understand Wookiee, that's what they would be doing. So that way Han doesn't have to walk around and growl all the fucking time.
Right.
Duh. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I spoke English to my grandmother all the time. She didn't speak English, but she understood what I was fucking saying. Right. So that's that. And
you understood that when she cracked you with the spoon, it was stay away from my lasagna.
Yeah. Don't touch the fucking garlic bread. Fuck face. Anyways. Or leave your brother alone. So, anyways, so I didn't think it was that bad. People also then complained that, well...
You read a lot of other people's reviews, don't you?
Well, I like to see the high points of complaint from the idiot masses that make no sense because they, really actually don't know what they're talking about. So they also complained about the words he was using to him, and that Chewbacca, they play it off like Chewbacca's some dum-dum, but he's not. It's Han that's the dummy that doesn't... He said, I only speak a little. So he's not going to know how to say all the fancy words. That's why he calls the big metal post that holds up the thing a stick. Because he don't know what support fucking beam is in Wookiee. Know what I mean?
Makes sense, yeah.
He was using broken words to communicate because he just knew the basics, basically. Or knew how to enunciate the basics. Anyway. Yeah, that's all I got about that.
I mean, you've heard of Spanglish. This was Wanglish.
All right.
Wanglish.
Yeah.
Wooklish?
Yeah.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. You guys are being too picky.
Yep.
Because if there was never another Star Wars cartoon or movie or anything, all you guys would be doing is saying, oh, why can't they make another movie? But now they're doing it, and because you got some idea in your head of what it's supposed to be, it's not right. Well, guess what, fuckface? Go write your own movie then.
And on top of that,
everybody wants to see the origins of all the stories that have been so famous in all of the movies for so long. Now you get to see that shit happen.
And that's the whole thing. Does that mean we're gonna get some more of these Calrissian Chronicles? That would be huge because that's a real thing.
Well, and that's what we were talking about. this can't go right into A New Hope because they got to
so
go into
we're
going
to cut to it because this movie is basically
and
let's just call
Emilia Clarke crushed it too.
Also pretty good, yes. So let's call this a heist movie, obviously. And this is him getting his
feet wet.
Popping his heist cherry. You know what I mean? So he's trying to get in, trying to make some money, trying to do some stuff and things with his life, blah, blah, whatevs. Gets hooked up with Woody Harrelson's character, Thomas Beckett.
Beckett, yes.
And who also name drops Aura Singh, which is a huge, another animated series thing, which is bananas. So, anyways, people that watch that, like, the only thing, dude, if they bring fucking Bane into this, like, stop it. Like, you would actually shit your trousers. Anyways, the point being, so it's a heist movie, obviously, and a lot of people were speculating, or people that didn't know nothing about nothing were saying that at the very end of this movie, it sets up the cantina scene in Mos Eisley where they meet Luke and Obi-Wan. That is absolutely incorrect by about 10 or so years. So, the point being is that we have a time frame right now that a lot of things still need to transpire just to get to that point, which a lot of those things that happen, especially with our mystery man, they do happen on Tatooine, but Han is going there. He is not yet the smuggler supreme at all.
Right.
So the end of this movie, he and Chewie are like, you know what? Beckett's talking about this shit on Tatooine with that crime boss. And I don't know if they actually bring up the name Jabba, but obviously.
They don't, but even I knew what they were talking about, so it's pretty well laid out.
He's going there, and he's going to start running some shit. And how many movies can we get out of that? A lot. I mean, I think they should make 8. But
I want to see a solo Lando movie.
Dude, we're going to see Lando again.
And we're definitely going to see Kira.
Kira's coming back for sure. And there's lore with that too. There's all kinds of actual canon that is out there right now in the form of Star Wars Rebels, the animated series that was on Disney, which is honestly one of the best. I mean, I like that series better than I like the prequels, hands down, for sure. And these are also all the prequel characters. Well, actually, not really Rebels. Clone Wars actually is. Which is actually another one that's also better. Clone Wars takes place between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. And then Rebels takes place after that.
Hey,
shortly.
You know what else you find out in this movie? How he got his last name. I found that super interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't know most of that
I didn't know that either. I didn't know that was a thing. Maybe it was in some obscure thing somewhere that I read before, but I did not remember that at all.
But I thought that was super interesting. Because I'll tell you what, I didn't know that he was in that before. I'm not going to give it away for people who didn't know what I'm talking about.
In what, where, what?
I'm not saying it.
Oh, yep.
I didn't know he was part of that.
Yep. That I did. Because
well, I'm sure you did.
Everybody learns to fly there.
Yep.
Because that's where Biggs went.
What about
Wedge Antilles?
Smalls?
Smalls was there. Yep. And Porkins. Dude, Porkins dies fast as fuck too when they go.
When the fuck we can get a Porkins movie?
I just watched that, and like he's like checking in or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, Porkins!" He's like, "Whoa!" He was dead already. I was like, "Oh, Porkins, how'd you get your own fucking Star Wars X-wing miniature fucking card?"
He's
suck.
the best, dude. Is there anything you didn't like about it? We didn't touch that on Ibiza either, but whatever.
Really, there was a few things. See, again, if you want to be uber critical about a million things, of course you can find something. But, another complaint. Remember that train scene you love so much?
Yep.
Well,
I just thought it was cool.
If we have
how
fucking spaceships, how come they're moving stuff on a train? That's stupid. That's literally
we have planes right now, and I still drive my ass to work.
Yeah, that's literally what somebody put and gave it a 1 star for the movie.
Because people are stupid.
Literally because of the train thing.
Yeah, well, guess what?
Here's
you have
the
a
thing.
helicopter
When you're transporting from one point to another and you're doing it quickly and efficiently, you would run an electromagnetic train which uses 0 fucking fuel, you fucking fuckheads. Moving on.
You okay?
I'm just saying. Think about it. That train would more than likely use zero fuel.
Right. Or a lot less than a bunch of spaceships.
Right.
Because clearly the one spaceship could barely carry the one car.
Right.
So there's... Why do you think we still have fucking trains today?
Yeah. Trains loaded up with shit.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. One of the best movies ever.
I mean, it's all right. So... so really, having said that, I really don't not like anything. Couple of small plot holes, but again, it's like any movie, man. Like, you have to move the story along to get to where you gotta go. So, some people have to not be in the story later, and how they get there might not be the way you wanted it to be.
Right.
But it is the way it is. So yeah, the plot did have holes. I will agree with all the complainers about that. But I watched the whole movie twice, and I liked it both times. So
I watched it once, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I went in thinking I'm really probably not going to like this that much. And I came out of it being like, that movie was a lot of fun.
See, and really, here's the thing about this movie in particular to other movies. So, A, you can watch this movie all by itself. Having never seen a fucking Star Wars movie before in your life, you would probably actually maybe enjoy it if you weren't an asshole. So, having said that, if you have seen Star Wars, there's a ton of awesome Easter eggs or nuggets or whatever the fuck you want to call them. There are plenty in this. So, for both ends of the spectrum, there's something for you here. And if you're not really into it, like, why not give this kid a chance and see if he can play the part? I mean, I think he can, and I hated the idea that he casted him. I hated the idea that they killed off Harrison Ford in the first movie. Almost enough that I never wanted to watch another movie again. But, you know what? I'm a fucking adult. And I got over that shit. So, and he's make-believe.
And we also get to see his blaster.
Oh, yeah, how he gets...
Everything that's famous about Han Solo is in this movie.
Yeah. They went a little cheesy with the golden dice at times, but whatevs. I get
They're
it.
young. They're kids. What do you want?
I get it.
But whatever. So that was... well, I guess we'll number it.
Yeah. I actually still don't even know what I'm giving it.
Based on the fact that I saw it once and I was expecting shitty... Well, not shitty, but I was expecting not to enjoy it as much as I did. And it had everything I wanted and more. I give it an 8 for now. There was a few times, like, when they were first escaping, I'm like, well, that seemed pretty easy. But then they immediately got hunted down, so maybe not.
Yep.
You know, but...
no, like I said, there's plot holes, but not really. You know what I mean? Like, they're covered quickly. Like, things happen. Like, here, case in point.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Just a real quick one. If you recall, Memphis Nest, they put the tracker on them.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they flew through the maelstrom.
Yep.
And the ship was fucking pummeled and destroyed.
Yep.
The tracker was just sitting on the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean,
it made it through.
Fucking half the hull came off this ship in the Kessel Run.
Yeah, it got destroyed.
And the tracker was like, yeah, I'm still going.
Yeah.
Still tracking.
I'm still standing.
You know what I mean? Like, just saying.
No,
just
I
saying.
get it. That was a kind of a neat scene, but I feel like...
Oh, people are going to hate that scene.
No, of course.
Why wouldn't you?
But, whatever, dude.
Han
was great.
I'm going balls out with a 9. I don't even care.
Han was great. Kira was great. Lando is untouchable at this point.
Yeah, he was bananas.
I don't know. I'm quickly becoming a Daniel Glover fan. What did you say? 9?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and to be honest, again, the underworld side of Star Wars is actually quite fun.
And it has a ton of potential.
Well, again, the first, like, whole season of Rebels, like, they ain't rebels.
Yeah.
They're basically like this shit, which is cool. Like, just ducking the Empire and stealing shit.
Right. Well, and that's the thing.
Know what I mean?
And there's even scenes in here where, like, yeah, okay, he might be going down the piece of shit criminal scum, like, smuggler path, but he does the right thing.
Well, and that's a specific thing that Kira actually brings up. She's like, yeah, dude, like, you're like the good guy.
Yeah, you're too nice.
He's like, no, I'm not. She's like,
yeah, you are.
Just saying, you're the good guy.
If I told you some of the shit I've done, you'd shit yourself.
Yeah, right. So, anyways, yeah, yep, a 9 and an 8. There you have it. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Make your own mind up. Maybe you think we're stupid.
Or maybe I think you're stupid. So
Yeah, right.
we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, that we can. So, in the meantime, you can find me at XOrsonX. You can find Mike at Review and Roast. You can find our Facebook at facebook.com/Review and Roast. And, do some stuff, do some things. And,
You make it real easy for me to go like this. Ugh.